Today's talk is about workforce planning for micro businesses, why you absolutely need to do it. The first question that I normally get is, well, what's a micro business? Is it like a small business? Well, yes, it's a type of small business. When you have a look at how businesses are made up in Australia, you can see that a small business is any business employing under 19 staff. But within that, there's actually some other types of businesses that make up the general population of all the businesses. Now, you're looking at self-employment opportunities. So they're your solopreneurs or your sole traders or your contractors that might be working professional services and all this sort of stuff. So these figures here are excluding people in the gig economy, because this only, the Australian government figures from the ABS only counts businesses that are registered for GST. So they're not just setting it up as a side gig. So 61.2% of all businesses in Australia are actually don't employ any staff. But that's not really correct, because they generally employ a bookkeeper, they have a virtual assistant, or they have someone to do their marketing, their SEO, all of this sort of stuff. So if you want to look at it technically, they probably come under the category of a non-employing business, but they fit into the category of the next one, which is called a micro business, which is any business in Australia that is employing between 1 and 4 staff. So when you get up into 5 to 19 businesses, this is where they're defined as a small business, and you can see here that it's only just this little part of the pie. Now currently, small business employers make up 8.9% of businesses in Australia. Before COVID and a lot of automation and all that sort of stuff, that figure was up around 12%. The micro businesses made up around 24%. Self-employment was about 59 to 60%. So you can see how, because of automation, that a lot of the jobs, particularly in smaller businesses, have been contracted, so that they've gone from being a small business to a micro business. And when you move into micro business, you've got different needs. So this is what the businesses that we're talking about in this seminar, and we're talking about their workforce planning, and we'll go in and we'll show you the models and how you can actually do that. You're probably doing it already, but you don't have to do everything yourself. This is the mistake a lot of employers make. You might see a lot of the training is for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large businesses, particularly the qualification framework. There is a micro business skill set, but it's only 2 units of the Cert 2 or Cert 4 of new business and entrepreneurship. So when we're talking about starting up businesses, people think the startup game in the universities will focus on the young people, the under 30s. But you can see the way that owning businesses has changed over the last 50 years. So now the average age of the business owner is actually 50. So when they were born 50 years ago in 1976, there was around 15% of businesses were owned by under 30s, and there was only around about 30% of businesses were owned by over 50s. So you can see the way that the market's changed, and now there's only 6% of businesses that are owned by under 30s, and that's something that's changed. It's probably getting up closer to 8%. Because a lot of people under 30 that are starting a business, they don't actually register for GST, so they don't actually appear in these numbers at the moment until they start to get a full-time business out of it or earn a full-time income. So looking at the next slide, we're going to get on to, well, this is where what we're talking about, workforce planning. Now, when we look at the Eisenhower matrix, or the urgent and important matrix, this is where these are the 4 types of people that micro businesses generally get in their organization. So obviously they've got the business owner who handles the urgent and important stuff. But as your business grows and you're looking to delegate things to people, then you can get on someone to do the urgent stuff. And this is where a lot of automation and the digital people that use the digital technology will get in these days. And this is why the under 30s and the over 50s actually work well together in a micro business situation, because the under 30s have grown up with the technology, so they don't have the fear of using AI and all of that stuff. They just get in there and learn it. But you've got the strategy as to when to use AI, and that's how you make your money out of your business. As your business grows, you're getting people to do the more important stuff, the critical thinking, the creativity, the adaptation, and the innovation. Well, what's innovative? Well, we'll get onto that in a moment, and I'll explain all of these skill sets in a moment, and I'll go through and I'll give you some examples of how you can use it. Okay, but the urgent and important stuff, that's the trainees. This is traditionally the after-school jobs or the casual workers in your workforce. It could be a partner helping out their husband or wife that's running the business. They just come in there and they're doing stuff. They're generally people that they don't care what they do. They just want a job and they're just in it, to earn an income. But money's not your why. What you can do with that money is their why, and that's how you're going to keep them and learn what's more important stuff. So generally, if you're looking at employing younger generation that don't really know what they love yet, you're going to put them on to do the urgent stuff. When they work out what's important to you and the business and to themselves, then they're going to move up to be a business leader in your business. They're going to get proficient at their job, and they're going to be coming to you and asking you questions, and they're going to want to go to, that's the reward for them doing a good job, is they can move up to doing the important stuff, which takes the work off you. If you have someone to do the important stuff and the urgent stuff, then nothing becomes urgent and important. And this is where the business owners get to step out of their business and start working on their business. And this is where, to work on your business, you need learning skills, you need to have initiative, ethics, empathy, and cultural awareness. These are the salespeople. These are the sales skills that they need as well. So if you're going to be getting a salesperson into your business, then they need to take advantage of the marketing. But that's generally what the business owner does when you're starting a small business, and they usually keep that themselves. The best person to go out there and get the sales is the micro business owner. But if you don't like doing that, you can focus on the important stuff, and you can get someone in to do the urgent stuff that also knows what's important, and they're going to be the good salespeople to convert your marketing into sales. So when we're looking at this, you might see the model on the right-hand side there. It comes from the DISC communication model. So dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. So how do these two models fit together? Well, this is the communication styles that each of these people that you have in the business, this is the type of communication style you're looking for. So I'm not going to get into the DISC profiling. There's a whole bunch of HR and recruitment people out there that can do that, but you can actually do a free DISC profiling test online. And you can get, if you know someone that's looking to come and work for you, you do some interviews or something like that. You can get them to do the free DISC profile online and send it through, and it's going to come up with what sort of percentage they are towards these communication styles. That's going to tell them how you can fit into your organization. Okay, so sounds simple, right? Okay, but this is where people go, yes, yeah, that's all well and good. But what is the evidence to back this up, that this is what is taught in the formal education and qualification courses? Okay, so where all these skill sets come into it is that they've actually been mapped to the core skills for work framework, which is in every vocational qualification, and it makes up part of the foundation skills. You've got language literacy, numeracy, and digital literacy now is one half of the core skills for work. There is one half is, the foundation skills in the qualifications. So we're talking about diploma, Cert 4, Cert 3. Okay, the other half that's related to the performance and the job performance of it is in the core skills for work framework. And there's 14 skills to get the work done in this framework. And this is what we've actually put them into this Eisenhower matrix to go from there. So when you're looking at employing people, this is where a lot of people get it wrong. A lot of business owners, they get it wrong. You're not looking for someone that's like you or that's got the same skills as you. That's just not practical. They don't have, unless they had the experience that you have as well, they're not going to fit in and be able to do what you do. And you don't have time to retrain them, or you don't have time to train them in general. So what's a capable worker? All you're looking for when you're putting staff on and you're doing a job ad is a capable worker under this model, is someone who's got practical real-world experience. So it's unlikely to be someone that's coming fresh out of school, but they might have had a part-time job, and that might count towards their experience as well. Okay, so they're looking at, they identify patterns and establish priorities. Okay, so you're going to give them the priorities initially. This is what's a priority for our business, and they're going to identify, well, when customers come in and they say this is what they're looking for them to do. So they can comfortably apply the rules, and they have a systematic approach in unfamiliar situations. But this means that if you don't have systems in your business, then you're going to struggle to find someone that's going to come and work with you, because they need to use the systems that you've put in place when they get in unfamiliar situations. So the next one is proficient. After they've been working for you for a while, they get used to you, the way that you do things, they get experience, and they assess and respond to situations with increasingly intuitive and flexible way. Okay, they're intuitive, but they're not mind readers. So you still have to tell them certain situation, and it's going to depend on their confidence. getting them up to this situation. And the key thing is they need to be able to ask for help, and they need to feel comfortable coming and asking you for help. So that's why it seeks guidance when making important decisions, because they know when they're out of their depth or when it's something that's going to impact the business. But this is the level that you're at as the business owner, is you've got extensive practical experience. You see the big picture and you understand that. You've got an eye for relevant details, what's important to you. So the customer is not always right, but they've always got to win. Otherwise, they don't pay you. It's as simple as that. So, this is where, when you're going in there, you're looking at, you're refining the patterns and getting the feedback from the staff, looking at concept principles, deciding which principles to apply and why. And that's what's important for your business, okay? So when we look at the different skill sets, we've got personal skills, which is learning, initiative, ethics, empathy, cultural awareness. Thinking skills. People say, oh, I just want someone that can think. Well, critical thinking is one part of that, but if you're looking for a thinker, then they've also come with creativity, adaptation, and innovation as well. The last one talks about action skills. Well, this is where, they're using digital technology to create action. Communication creates action. Collaborations create action. Problem solving creates action. And of course, customer focus. This is where people say, salespeople, and they've got a good customer focus, and they're actually, I can sell ice to Eskimos. Well, this is not an ethical sales skill. It's a focus on the customer, but it's doing what's urgent for the customer, maybe not so much what's important for the customer. But I say, selling ice to Eskimos, well, it just comes down to ethically. What is an Eskimo going to use ice for? It's a building product. So aren't there better building products on the market these days? So if you're going to fix their problem, ethically, you go back to, this would be a better product for them to use. And if you're looking at cultural awareness, it's a little bit racist, that comment as well. Okay, so when I mention these sort of things to people, the first question I always get, well, how do you quantify empathy? Well, what is empathy? Well, I've got a whole ebook on this, but I'll just go and show you here. We can actually, looking at those gradings or that level of skill that we had. So there's a capable definition, there's a proficient definition, there's an expert definition. Okay, so you can go through this. So generally, as a business owner, if you're looking at this, and you can email me and I can send the ebook out to you. But if you think that you're a good salesperson and you don't have empathy for your customers, or you're a good networker but you don't have empathy for the people that goes out there, these are the actions that you actually do to show that you've got empathy in business. And this is what's in the training qualifications. They don't call it empathy, it's called something else in the framework. But this is effectively the actions that they take to demonstrate empathy in their skills training. Okay, then of course the question is, well, what's innovation? Innovation is just one type of innovation, but that's only 2.5% of the population on the diffusion of innovation model. Okay, so the main type of innovation, you've got synthesis, you've got duplication innovation, all of this sort of stuff as well. But here are the actions that people can take. So if someone comes in and they say, I'm innovative, and they're fresh out of uni, well, this is what they do down the bottom. They assume responsibility for the high impact decisions with multiple variables and constraints. Balances involvement of others so they don't exclude you from the conversation. Choosing between unilateral decisions and consultation and collaboration to achieve consensus. Okay, so what I hear is a lot of the graduates that are coming out of the courses, they come in and they're going to tell you how to run your business. No, that's not what someone who is innovative does. What someone that is innovative does, comes in, talks to you, finds out what's worked, and then they'll do what's called pivot. And they'll just adjust things, and they'll do more so of a continuous improvement process, which is a synthesis innovation. So they're actually using tried and tested technology or tools or business practices, and they're actually going to add that, and they're going to go out and then they're going to find new customers for you. That's what innovation, and that's how it works in micro businesses. The other one it talks about is collaboration. Oh yeah, you go out and collaborate to build your business. Well, these are what people that build their business do. Looking down the bottom again, intuitive, identifying possible solutions, challenges initial perceptions. Okay, so you go out there, it's about talking to people, finding advice. They seek advice and extend insights. So they seek advice as well as give advice as well. So you give before you get, normally in networking. And that tends to be how it works here as well. Okay, they do have problem-solving processes. They consider the unintended consequences as well as potential implications and future solutions as well. So if we can do this, then we can do this, and then we can do this. So the experts actually do what's called positive contingency planning, which is designed to create joy, whereas the capable performers generally do negative contingency planning, which is designed to stop pain. So it's to prevent some pain, which usually it means you have to stop doing something, not and you stop it and then you can do something else. So if we're looking at someone in the collaboration process, they're looking at that. They implement standard formal problem-solving procedures for routine and unfamiliar problems, okay? So they'll go in there and they might be very collaborative, but they come in and they just talk to you and they try and problem solve for you. So you may not want that. So that's not the type of collaboration you're looking at building with a micro business. Unless you know that you've got problems that you don't have solutions for, then you would be looking for someone to come in and doing that. So they seek feedback and reflects on the effectiveness of their solution. So if you get a business coach that comes to you and they go, oh yeah, this is what you should do, and no, this is what my clients do, and they tell you what to do, but they don't get feedback on the solution, whether or not it works, and they don't actually ask you, did I help you? And you say yes, and they should say, well, how did I help you? Explain how I helped you. That's the sign of someone that's a good collaborator, as distinct from someone who's just capable of collaborating, okay? So they consider the goals and achievements and looking for future responses, okay? So a capable collaborator is someone who is basically, they're looking at, yes, they might be looking at long-term, but they're looking at coming back to you. They might be using it as lead generation, whereas the experts, they might come up with future situations and things like that, but then they're going to say, well, if you got any more problems or you get this, come back to me, or if you've got any friends that have got the problem, you can refer them to me. So they're more after referrals, whereas the capable collaborators generally tend to focus on a transactional thing. You do this for me, you hire me for this. Okay, so this is just some triggers and some things for people to look out for when you're doing your networking around the traps. But then it just comes into, well, yeah, this is all fine, but how do we put it all together into your sales and marketing strategy? Well, everyone tends to know, or most people in business will know, the 4 P's of marketing. So you've got your product, your placement in the market, and then that determines your price. And when you get those 3 sorted out, you've got a business, and then you can promote it. So you go out there and you start promoting it. Now, if you've got a weakness in any of your product, your placement, your price, when you go to promote it, you won't get any sales, or there'll be some reason why things just aren't taking off. And that's where people get a little frustrated. So how do we relate this to the 5 steps of buyer behavior? Well, the first step is need recognition. So that's where people go looking for the product. Then you've got the information search, and that's where is your product placed in the market is where they're going to be looking for it, okay? So this goes into your marketing and your SEO, and this is the second step of buyer behavior. Then the third one comes down, they evaluate alternatives, and generally it comes down to price. It doesn't mean that people can't afford your product. It just means how much can they afford right now. Maybe they can't afford your premium product, but maybe you've got another product, or you can refer them to someone that's got a product that might fix their problem now. But if they're looking for a long-term solution that's going to fix their problem for good, then people will pay 3 times as much for something if they know that it's twice as good. So if it fixes their problem twice, you fix it for them, and then they can do it on their own, then they're willing to pay 3 times more for that. And that's how a lot of businesses set their price with their products when they're trying to sell it there as well. Okay, so when you go through that, then obviously the next step is the purchase decision, and that's the goal when you convert them to marketing. I said 5 steps. The 5th step is actually the post-purchase experience. So how do you teach them when you go through this process again, or what's your after-sales service? You know, if they've got complaints, do you fix them up? Do you what's your refund policy? All of this sort of stuff, your T's and C's are going to come into it there as well. Okay, but when we're talking about profitability or triple bottom line, so you might have heard people, planet, and purpose. Okay, all businesses are for purpose. It's just what you can do. Money's not the purpose. It's what you can do with the money as the purpose. So what I like to do is I like to attach this model to it as well. So when you're talking about the planet, the product has to look after the planet. And if it does that, then it's environmentally safe and friendly, then it's going to be a product that you can sell. Then it depends on where you place it in the market, depends on the people. So the people in your organization, and this has got to do with the post-purchase experience a lot of the time, and referral partners. The people in the organization is going to see where your product is actually going to be placed in the market. If you can get those two right, you look after the planet, you look after the people, then your business is bearable. But the next one is when we look after the people and the purpose, then you've got a business that's equitable, okay? But maybe it's not looking after the planet. If you've got a business that's looking after the purpose, why ever the business is created, it's dealing with that. It's looking after the planet. Maybe it's not looking after the people so much. It's not filling what their basic needs are. Then you've got a business, it's viable, but it's not sustainable, because to be sustainable, they've got to look after all of those three things in one go, and that's what a sustainable business is from a business perspective. So it's more than just being environmentally friendly, it's all of those things put in there to combine. So this is where we're going back to, well, we're talking about workforce planning. Well, what sort of people do you need in this workforce planning model? Well, if you're looking for someone to work on products or create new products, then they're going to need thinking skills. If you're looking for someone to reposition or looking at the placement in your market, then you're going to need someone with those action skills. So you can go back to the video and have a look at that there as well. Okay. If you're looking for someone that is looking to work out and promote the purpose of your business, then you're going to need someone with personal skills. So this is where you depends on how you're raised and your experience. What do you love doing? This is what's going to come out in this section, because that's going to be the preference for the type of work that you want to do in your business. So this is where there's a lot of confusion that comes in with business owners, particularly small business owners, is they've got to feel like they've got to do everything. And when they get burnt out, they acknowledge that they need help, but they tend to give away what they love. And what did you get into business for? Not to give away what you love, but to actually do what you love. So this is how this model comes in there, right? So when you're looking at this model here, have a think about what you enjoy in your business. Look at those things there. And it's a case that maybe you've got a mismatch. Maybe you love the action skills, or maybe you love talking to people, you're working on the purpose. That's where your passion is, but you don't want to come up with new products or new ways to do it. You just want to do the same stuff you've always done. Well, this is where you need to get someone in there to do the thinking for you and allow you to focus on the people there as well. But now we've got a lot more information out there, and these models like this, when you're putting them in together, when you look at them independently, it can be a bit confusing. But this is how I put it all together with my trainees, whether they're school kids or they're over 50s, or even people that are looking to just create a supplemental income or something to retire on because they don't have enough to retire on. All of these models work for them, with social enterprises, with corporate models, big businesses, small businesses as well. All need to work on their marketing mix to survive in business. Okay, so that's a rundown on micro business planning. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, jobs@inception.net.au. If you want some more free training, I've broken it down into some blogs on the website for all that explains in depth some of the stuff that I was talking about. It actually does explain in more details about the skills and where it fits into the formal system for universities and RTO qualifications as well. So jump on the website, feel free to email me, and if you've got any questions, I'd love to hear from you. My name's Brett from Inception Network, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon.